With Arsenal not playing a game until the weekend, I think it's a really good time to reflect on the team. Now obviously we were in a bit of a bad form, but since we've come back from our Dubai break, we've won 3 out of 3 and we are going again for the season. We've got some massive games coming up like West Ham and our return to the Champions League in a few weeks' time. And with the recent news of our Player of the Month going to Gabriel and also being nominated for the Player of the Month in the Premier League, I think it's a good time to look at him at a player and just how good he's been playing. So let's get into it. To me, most of last season, Gabriel was one of our best players. He struggled a lot when Saliba was injured because they complement each other very well. But I think this season he had a bit of a shaky start, obviously not playing in the first few games, but I think since then Gabriel has probably been our second best player of the season behind Declan Rice. Now I know Saliba is probably the better defender overall and has more potential, and it helps having someone as good as Saliba next to him because that really makes Gabriel better at the things he can do well. However, what Gabriel has been good at and has done has been brilliant for this team, and he's done his role to perfection. I actually think he is one of our best players, and the fact that this guy doesn't get any creditation outside of the Arsenal fan base is still a disgrace. And I think it's mostly because people don't really watch the matches. When you watch the matches, you really can see the impact Gabriel has on the team, but when you look at the stats, it doesn't look as clear. He often isn't doing huge amounts of tackles and interceptions per game, and often with things that are regarded as a defender, people have their agendas about certain players, because despite people like Ruben Dias not doing much defending, people always rate him. Now to beat any defender in a Mikel Arteta side, or specifically our side right now, you have to be very good with the ball and very good at passes, and he definitely holds up to this as well. He's making around 4 progressive passes per game and getting around a 90% pass completion, and attempted around 65 passes, which is pretty good average. And the thing that's amazing about Gabriel, he's actually a very physical defender. He does the hard things. He doesn't have an easy job defending, has to go out there and win the ball sometimes. He also has to man mark the personal striker by himself. Sometimes we get Saliba to do it, but often he's battling and fighting proper physical strikers every week because he has them physical levels to cope with it. And for instance, when we played Man City, he often had to play aggressive on Haaland and did it very well, stepping up on Haaland and Alvarez in the middle and using his physical strength to cause fear and panic into the minds of the City attackers. And often Gabriel, when some defenders get too tight to players, they really struggle. Like if you get too tight to Salah, he will often go past you, but Gabriel actually works very well getting tight because he often doesn't let people sneak past him, and he's got impeccable timing in these positions. And one of the best things about him is his timing. He's very good at getting to the ball early before the player can even get there, and often bringing it down with comfortable ease and being able to pass off. With his brilliant passing skills, he's very comfortable in defence passing the ball around, and it is easily retains possession, finding balls inside. He has the ability to go quick also when he's passing the ball to give Arsenal a bit of press going forward, and when Liverpool conceded that first goal to us with a brilliant move by everyone being involved, Gabriel was at the heart of it, really initiating the first pass to get us to quickly go down that side. And obviously him being left-footed, when he was signed for just £23 million from Lille, it was a brilliant pickup. At the start he did struggle, but I think that's because our defence wasn't ready. And like I said, he does need the players around him with a bit more comfortability, someone that can run in the back like Saliba and has a brilliant impeccable timing with the slide tackles, while also being very physical. This lets Gabriel do what he's very good at, and that is be very dominant in the air. He's one of the most dominant players in the air in the Premier League, and he is for our team. And this is where he complements each other with Saliba. Saliba isn't the best player in the air, so they often let Gabriel try and win the headers from attacking corners and defensive corners, and per game he's winning around 3 aerials per game, which is a very high level for a defender. And statistically, and when you watch games, you can tell Gabriel is one of the best players in the air in the league. He might not get enough credit because he simply isn't as tall as some defenders in the league, but he was really good. And from attacking corners, he has one of the highest XGs in the league, and we've seen how much of a threat he can be when Arsenal get the corner strategy right, which we have been recently, and every single corner he is a threat or free kick. And even against big sides like Liverpool, they're always worried that Gabriel can come in, even though they have people like Van Dijk who are very good in the air as well. Because of his impeccable timing, and he's very good at running on the ball in a great perfect moment, he often has a good chance to head the ball. And since he's played for Arsenal, you've seen how good he is from the box. He scored from a header on his debut against Fulham and has never looked back since, scoring 12 Premier League goals in that time, being the most out of a defender since he joined the Premier League. And we clearly work around this. His XG per game for shots is 0.81, which is a lot for a defender, and he's getting a non-penalty expected goals or assist goals at least 0.13 a game, which does not sound like a lot, but for a defender that is in one of the top 7% in Europe. And it shows every 10 games he is expected to score per the stats, and for a defender that is a really good level. I know that's not the best level, but that is really high performing player that can really head the ball from anywhere, and defensively he's also amazing at this. Of course there's been problems sometimes where they often double mark him because they know he's the real aerial threat, and also if the goalkeeper will make a mistake then sometimes it does cost him, but he is usually very reliable in the air. He's actually very reliable from crosses as a whole. When he first joined Arsenal, there was always mistakes in his game. He sometimes got red carded rationally and sometimes made big mistakes, but often that is when he gets left to his own abide. When he has to do everything by himself, he simply cannot do it. He's not a player like Saliba. He's not a Rolls Royce defender. He's more of an aggressive, dogged defender that can really fight the team. But you always need a calm head, someone that's really good at pace and really good at timing their tackles to help you next to him while also being very physical. It's not just all down to the players that we have in the team that are making him better. He's also improved his game to a majorly amount since he joined. Since the last few years have happened, Gabriel himself has got an insane player. He is very good at a 1v1 situation now and barely ever makes a mistake. His passing has got incredibly much better, where he takes risky passes into the midfield, but they always come off and let us break from his quick movement and decision making. He's obviously had to defend a lot more as well, because Zinchenko will often invert on his side, so we often have to cover both sides, and he does a brilliant job of tracking runners and making sure no one gets in behind. And I've seen a lot of criticism of Gabriel because sometimes his percentage stats might look as good, but he does so much more than any other defender really out there, especially in the top 6. He really is aggressive and really wants to get in there all the time, and often if he does not win a possession or win a duel, it's so far away from the goal it doesn't really end up mattering. And because Arsenal have the best defensive team in the country, we simply don't have to defend as much as some other teams do, but he's still making an incredible amount of blocks, interceptions and clearances per game to make it to a good level. And I think something that is amazing about Gabriel and our defence as a whole is that they really all take responsibility for stuff that happens. They will all take responsibility for their side and for their areas, and will often come and help their teammates if they feel like they need it, and there's no ego lost if they get helped by someone else. This has been a problem with Van Dijk sometimes, that he doesn't really go close enough, although Van Dijk is an insane defender and still one of the best in the world. It's annoying to me because obviously I am an Arsenal creator, so people are going to think this is biased, but I genuinely think Gabriel is one of the best defenders in the league. When you watch him per game, he really is an important cog to Arsenal's defence, and that's why we have the best defence in the country, that core of Saliba, Rice and Gabriel. And the other two always get their flowers in the news, so let's finally give it to Gabriel, who deserves it, getting Player of the Month for Arsenal this month, which is an amazing achievement. I'm super proud of him, and being nominated for the Player of the Month in the Premier League. Now he probably won't win it because defenders never do, but fair play, that is a major achievement for someone that's been playing at the top of his game for the last year and a half. There's been off days, but he has been top notch for over a year and a half now, and he is one of the reasons why we are a title contending team. His improvement has been immense, and this makes it even weirder to think, I know Arteta wanted to change the system up at the start of the season with new players like Timber in, but it's even weirder to think that Gabriel didn't start for his first 2 Premier League games and everyone thought he was going to leave. We should never think about selling this guy when he's playing this well, and he was playing this well last year. He's a mainstay in the team and a proper leader, and honestly when some players come off, like Martin Odegaard, the captain, I think Gabriel is a brilliant stand-in for that captain's role. He really gets it, he really gets the club, and it's clear to see by his performances and passion that he really understands what he's doing. And it's really encouraging to see someone that joined us when we came 8th in the season, and we came 8th with him, and finally we are up there competing for the big titles, and I think he's going to become important and vital in competitions like the Champions League. Let me know what you guys think about Gabriel, and please go and vote for him for Player of the Month in the Premier League. I would love to see him win it. If you enjoyed any of my Arsenal content or any of my other tactical videos, please give us a subscribe, and I recommend watching my video yesterday where I talk about Arsenal over celebrating. Thank you for watching.